Ethereum has pioneered a number of innovations in the cryptocurrency space, including smart contracts and decentralized applications that pay high interest. It does, however, confront three major obstacles. The first is the issue of low throughput. That is to say, Ethereum can only process 30 transactions per second. This processing speed is extremely slow when compared to the number of users who use Ethereum. Because several options can process a large number of transactions in the same amount of time. The Cardano blockchain, for example, can handle roughly 257 transactions per second, while Polkadot can handle up to 1,000 and Solana can handle up to 65,000. The second major issue is that the Ethereum network isn't particularly user-friendly, because you're effectively bidding in an auction against everyone else who wants to be one of the 30 transactions. In a nutshell, this means it is costly. I'm talking about spending $20 only to send a $1 to a pal. Finally, the Ethereum blockchain offers developers a restricted number of possibilities. All Ethereum projects are connected to the same network and have the same throughput. This means that they are all affected by Ethereum's issues. There are no exceptions. What if there was another blockchain that took advantage of Ethereum's technology while also providing higher throughput, extremely reduced transaction costs, and more options? We'll go over what Polygon is, how it works, and the specific tokenomics of the MATIC currency in this video. So, in 2016, 3 Indian developers set out to solve Ethereum's issues. As a result, MATIC was born, which has now been renamed the Polygon network. One thing to keep in mind is that the coin is still known as the MATIC coin, despite the fact that it has been rebranded to the Polygon network. Polygon is a layer 2 scaling technology that enables Ethereum-based apps to scale. To address the issues I highlighted earlier, while also taking use of Ethereum's security. Its main goal is to increase the number of people who use DeFi technologies and applications. By essentially connecting blockchains, the network already hosts over 3,000 decentralized applications, with over 80 major brands migrating from Ethereum's main chain. Because Polygon and Ethereum are so similar, many developers who create valuable tools will shift them from Ethereum to other EVM blockchains like Polygon to expand their reach and usage. If you're wondering what EVM stands for, it stands for Ethereum Virtual Machine, and it's the code that runs on computers all around the world to execute the blockchain smart contracts. Now, at this point in the video, if you don't understand almost any of the concepts I said, you can view some of our dedicated videos that clarify some of these phrases. In any case, Polygon has an EVM, as do Binance Smart Chain, Phantom, and a few other major networks. They're all based on the Ethereum code. And, because they all execute the same code, it's easy to see how developers might just move their project to a new network and have it work almost exactly the same way. Moving on, when we think of polygons, we think of the Polygon proof-of-stake chain, which is basically a side chain to Ethereum that uses a proof-of-stake consensus process, is what most people think of. There are a few other enhancements to this side chain, but the most essential is that it is far faster and can process significantly more transactions per second, implying that it is significantly more economical to the end user. Technically speaking, the Polygon network is much more than a side chain. One of Polygon's main goals is to provide developers with user-friendly and adaptable tools. As a result, they will be able to accelerate Ethereum's development into a multi-chain platform. To put it another way, Polygon isn't just a single proof-of-stake chain as we commonly think of it. They are a collection of blockchains that can help Ethereum scale. When they do this, developers will be able to simply construct a variety of scaling solutions to utilize with Ethereum, such as wholly separate chains such as ZK rollup chains, optimistic rollup chains, or any other side chains they wish. By the way, if you want to learn more about how side chains and rollups work, you may watch our films on them. They're incredibly inventive and unique ways to bundle data and save space on the Ethereum main chain. One option to grow Ethereum is to use the Polygon proof-of-stake chain. In actuality, Polygon intends to create a variety of scaling options for consumers. So, at first glance, I thought Polygon was a really straightforward game. However, there's a lot more to it than what average consumers see when it comes to its internals. Polygon may be summarized in one word for users like you and me. It's essentially Ethereum, but with extremely low gas fees. Currently, the charge to transfer Ethereum from one account to another is around $20. On the Polygon network, though, it costs less than a penny. This implies that users may check out new apps and test things out without worrying about losing $150 on a token swap. Polygon and Binance Smart Chain are the two DeFi blockchains that I personally recommend to beginning users. So, for what it's worth, take that for what it's worth. Moving on, let's take a closer look at how Polygon truly works. As a result, the Layer 2 scaling solution is in charge of Polygon, as well as the Proof of Stake protocol. To the main Ethereum chain, this is referred to as a commit chain. If you're unfamiliar with a commit chain, it's a transaction network that works similarly to a real chain. As a result, in Polygon's situation, it operates in tandem with Ethereum. Now, before we go any further, a lot of what I'm going to talk about in the future is quite technical. But, if you're curious, let's get started. Before transferring the data back to the main Ethereum chain, the Polygon commit chain combines up clusters of transactions and processes them all together. Consider it this way: Polygon takes a single snapshot every now and then instead of uploading a complete movie of all the transactions, so the Ethereum chain can still comprehend what's going on without having to process a lot of data. Because of this, the Polygon network can process up to 65,000 transactions per second. According to some analysts, a moment will come when developers will host tens of thousands of chains that work in tandem with Ethereum to boost throughput to millions of transactions per second. Now it's time to get a little more technical. The Ethereum layer, the security layer, and the Polygon layer make up Polygon's architecture. Finally, there's the layer of Polygon networks and the layer of execution. Now I'll be honest with you, you don't need to know this information. So if you just want to get into tokenomics, go ahead and skip ahead. Different Ethereum-based smart contracts make up the Ethereum layer. Staking, transaction approval, and interaction between the Ethereum blockchain and multiple Polygon chains are all handled by these contracts. This layer is where Polygon checks in with Ethereum on a regular basis. The security layer is the next step, and it works in tandem with Ethereum to provide validator services. Adding an extra layer of security to chains, it's worth noting, however, that both the security layer and the Ethereum layer are optional. They aren't necessary for Polygon to function. Layer 3 is the Polygon networks layer, which is the ecosystem of Polygon-based initiatives or blockchain networks. Essentially, any project or blockchain within this ecosystem has its own community. Local agreement is gained, and blocks are created. The execution layer is the final layer. This is commonly referred to as Polygon's Ethereum virtual machine, and its primary purpose is to execute smart contracts on the Polygon blockchain. The interoperability with the EVM, as I previously stated, improves the user experience for Ethereum developers and programmers. Finally, we'll look at Polygon's tokenomics. There is a native token on the Polygon network. It's known as MATIC, and it's been trading for roughly $2. With a market capitalization of over $13 billion, it is one of the most valuable companies in the world. MATIC tokens are dispensed on a monthly basis and have a total supply of 10 billion. Nearly 6.8 billion have already been distributed. The difference between these two figures is that tokens held for staking rewards and tokens with a time-locked release schedule, which we'll discuss later, are held for staking rewards. During their initial private launch in 2017, the developers sold approximately 3.8% of MATIC's entire supply. Then they conducted an initial exchange offering, in which they sold another 19% of their maximum supply. If you're curious about the other tokens, the development teams control 16% of the total supply. Advisors have a 4% stake, and staking rewards are roughly 12%. The Polygon Foundation received roughly 22% of the ecosystem's 23%. And it is technically inflationary because MATIC tokens are currently being produced to reward stakers. MATIC, on the other hand, has a limited supply and will shortly be developing their own version of ETH 1559. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, what this means is that the base transaction fees will be effectively incinerated, making MATIC a deflationary token in the long run.